Hey, ladies, we just did a really good episode last week on our review, our year of 2024. And we all came to the same conclusion that we had a lot of emotional happiness, emotional growth. Like we had a really good conversation. But here's my question. With all of this growth in emotional happiness, did you ever feel like you were struggling or lost within the year and that uncomfortableness? And did you ever end up feeling I'm going to talk about me. I have. I felt lost in 2024. Even though I felt it was a good year for me, I felt I grew a lot emotionally. There were struggles and there were feelings of loss. And what I came to understand was that's why I grew. That when I started feeling uncomfortable on a more consistent basis, I understood more clearly the life I wanted, what I wanted. I became present in relationships. I ended relationships. I became emotionally happier. So even though we had a good year, we all agreed we had a good 2024. Were you struggling and feeling lost?
Yep, absolutely. And I think that when you feel lost, when you're feeling um, some of that uncertainty, it is uncomfortable. And that is actually a really good place to be. We don't want to be there because no, we don't like that feeling. It's like, ooh, there's no clarity, there's no certainty here. I don't want this feeling. But it actually is a really good place to be because it's like you said, it's where I think your biggest growth is going to come from. Something's brewing there. Something's
Hmm.
happening. There's a story being woven here that you need to hear when we're feeling that uncomfortableness and we're feeling kind of like lost in the weeds. We don't really know which way to go or how to handle something or, you know, um, I know certainly for me, and that's been the case in the past, not only in the past year, but in the past that I've been able to recognize that when I have been feeling this, it is something that is going to be uncovered. Um, Something to be learned and perhaps more clarity, perhaps more questions too. Like it's not necessarily going to give me a definitive answer on something. I used to just shun it. I used to go, oh God, I don't, I'm going to pretend it's not existing and I'm just going to let it like sit over here until, I realized that that is actually where all the gold is sitting in that spot. And being able to be uncomfortable with it, to let that uncomfortableness reside in my body and go, it's okay. This is an experience that needs to happen. I can feel this. Nothing bad's going to happen to me. And I'm just going to wait for whatever it is that's going to tell me what it needs to tell me.
What about you, Tracy G?
I'm just thinking, lots of times during these episodes, I catch up. I go, oh, okay. And so I'm just taking it from a different standpoint right now, and I don't know if it's the same thing. So for this year, I felt I had a breakthrough for me personally. And uh, one of the things I want to mention is in the previous episode, Tracy mentioned about acknowledging your feelings, like something like excitement, instead of saying, oh, the kid going on stage is excited. And we try to
Right.
say, don't worry about it and all that. And I think I had
Don't be
that.
nervous. Don't be nervous. It was
Don't
that
be
thing.
nervous,
So
and
we're
not rather
telling
than
them, yeah,
acknowledging that you are nervous. And I think there was a breakthrough, I'm not sure at what point, and that plays into it where this year there's a lot of stuff that came to me that I went, let's do it. Let's do it. I don't know where this is going to go, but let's do it. And I did that on in steps on top of steps where I went, let's do this. I don't care. Did it work? Didn't it? I don't care. Let's do it again. Let's do something slightly different. So I didn't know where I was going with it. I was really excited about doing it. I knew it wasn't my norm. So I'm not sure if that's the same thing.
yep. Oh yeah, I take that because I take it because you, and I don't mean the literal, but you took this blind faith. Like you're like, I'm not sure where it's going. I don't need, like, for me, I would always need the step by step plan and have all worked out, that analysis paralysis or that perfection thing. You just went with it. And that's beautiful because you might not have been lost or struggling, but you still took a blind faith of like, I'm going to do it. I'm just going to step forward. And here's the thing. I love the fact that you said, if it works out, it works out. If it doesn't, it doesn't. But you tried it. That's what we get caught up on. We don't try it because we're afraid. So
Well, I
yeah, I
think
take it
I,
as the same thing.
and I think my breakthrough is I've always said I believe in myself, and the feeling was 100 times, 1,000 times more this year, where I really believed in myself. So when you go out of your comfort zone makes you feel a little this way. This year, for whatever reason, getting out of my comfort zone excited me. Like I was like, what? I'm gonna do that? I'll do it. I'll do it. And it was a different take. And I think I finally felt safe in
Mhm.
Tracy, and that it's okay because of whatever happens, you got you. So that was, getting lost because it's definitely, I didn't know where I was going with it.
What an amazing experience that is to feel that sense of certainty and believability in yourself.
Especially
Yeah.
when you've never had like at that level. Like at that level. Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, to
There's
have your
I'm trying to
like that,
find
I mean, to have your own back like that and to know that it's like it's like being unstoppable, really. I
Hmm.
mean, that's really that's the word that comes to mind.
Yeah. And it's a fear thing too, right? Like that, allowing yourself to know there's fear and just going, okay.
Yeah, feel the fear and do it anyway. I mean,
Yeah.
it's we're always afraid of new things. And really it's that it always comes back to that narrative of how we talk to ourselves and what we want to say. Like being uncomfortable is not a bad thing, but I mean, growing up, I was always taught that if you're feeling uncomfortable, just ignore it. It'll pass. It'll go away. Like some kind of, I don't know, flu or something that you got, and it'll eventually get better. Instead of investigating it and going, okay, well, this is interesting. Like, why am I feeling this? What's happening here? What's around the corner? Um, what am I supposed to get out of this experience? Why is it making me feel uncomfortable? Like I'm far more investigative about things now than I ever was before.
Right. And I would say a lot of it has to do, so because we do these episodes, I have to talk about stuff. I have to be, you guys, I might bring something to the table, you might bring something to the table, but it's not that I go for months on end, not acknowledge, like, oh, we're talking about being out of the comfort zone. Oh, we're talking about this. And so it's always around me. And then I go in and edit these. And guess what? I start listening to them. I go, oh my God, wow, that was good. That was good. And I think it's kind of sitting in the
Us,
back of my head where had I not been doing this, as like I
yeah,
hope that this is someone gets something out of this. But for me, I'm getting a lot out of this because I'm acknowledging these talks and what we're talking about keeps it at what do you call it? Front of mind. So you're
yes, friend of
thinking
mine.
about this.
Yep, yep.
Because
Have you guys?
I don't think I would be where I am now if I wasn't doing this. Because we do talk a lot about the stuff that I am, and I don't like you guys are in that profession and I'm over here in mine. So if you know what I mean, like you guys are
Yeah,
talking about this because it's what you guys do.
right. It's what I did. Have you ever read the book? That's why I got up here. Hello, Fears from Michelle Pooler.
No.
No, and so it's like crush your comfort zone and become who you're meant to be. So if there was a fear she had to do it. Like there was no ifs, ands, or buts. Like she had to. And I think I'm trying to look here at it. Um, and she ended up rewriting like her whole life and how she found things were sabotaging her life and everything. So I think it's we talk about being uncomfortable. We talk about um, our emotional growth. We talk about growth. And every time you're going to do it, I think the three of us have learned in some way, shape, or form that we're not allowing fear, imposter syndrome, whatever you want to call it, to have a grip on us like it probably did in the past. So even for yourself, Tracy G, I mean, you've talked about there's so much in your life that you have been ahead of the game on. I think of it often when on you, like even before it was the thing to work from home, you knew you wanted to be home for your children. So you and your husband had this business that you worked from home. Like, but there's other things within our lives that we allow fear to come in and do. And I think the three of us through these conversations, because I agree wholeheartedly with you, Tracy G, that my growth has come a lot from our conversations. A lot from our conversations. Because there are times when we think we're alone in a feeling
Mm.
and just the three of us are like, "Oh, I feel that all the time." Like, oh, I don't know that. Or somebody else will say, um, I never thought of it that way. I just thought it was this. I realized that. So I think that hopefully the three of us are showing that we can be comfortable with being uncomfortable. Or like you said before, Tracy, I just went for it. If it worked out, it did. If it didn't, it didn't. Like you believed in yourself enough that either way, it was going to be okay. And that's how we have to look at life. Either way, it's going to be okay. What do you think?
Totally agree.
We totally agree.
Totally agree. Totally agree.
So, listener, what about you? Are you, how do you feel when it becomes, when you're in when you're uncomfortable? And when you continue to move forward, what have you found on the other side? Like, let us know how you feel about this. This is sometimes people get uncomfortable talking about being uncomfortable because it's uncomfortable. Like it is. It's like you talk about it and you want to do it, and like you get these cold sweats, and it's like, oh, I want to do this, but they're different than me, and all of this. Share it with us. Let us help you through this. Let's share the experiences so we can um possibly talk about it in another episode. If you think this episode will help someone, please share it. If you like it, make sure you hit that like button, subscribe, and also hit notifications if you want to know when our next episode will be out. Until next time.
Thanks for watching, and we hope to see you as a regular member of our community.